Hello and welcome to the Teach Music 21C podcast series. I'm Merlin Thompson, the creator and founder of Teach Music 21C, a music studio teacher community that takes its inspiration from real life students, real life parents, and real life teachers. And I'll take a moment to make sure you know about all the amazing resources we've got on our website at teachmusic21c.com. And today I'd like to welcome once more Paul McGlinchey from our executive team at Teach Music 21C. Welcome back, Paul.
Hello, Merlin. Great to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. And today, can I get you to introduce a challenge that's facing today's music teachers?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges we face as private music studio teachers is student motivation and the incredible dropout rates. I was reading something recently. It said 50% of all students drop out of lessons before they're 17, and most of them quitting between the ages of 15 and 17. And so I'm wondering, I know we've talked about, the program before, but how do we address those problems?
Yeah, it's just something so important for us. And here's where I'm just delighted to say that the certification program from Teach Music 21C really gets right down to the issue, gets right down to the core. We identify the problem and what can we do about it? And what I'm always surprised about is it's not rocket science what we're going to do. It's just really understanding the role that music has in our lives is for me the biggest one. And it's this whole notion that music in our lives is something that we go to as part of our well-being. We go to it for distraction. We go to it for a challenge. We go to it to get away from the world. We go to it to be part of the world. And so starting with that idea in the certification program really gets us off on a good foot.
I love how the idea of music in our lives and focusing on each student, that really transformed my teaching. I kind of had thought about it before, but the ideas that you share with us are so personal and so profound. They really have helped me out and a number of us in the community. But I'm also wondering too, about how you talk about curriculum models, and that specifically, shared curriculum models. How does that apply to student motivation and a dropout crisis? Really, is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what we know about students who continue to make music later is that those students have made a connection while they were taking music lessons. And so what we've done in the past is we've said, here's the agenda, here's all the things we're going to learn, here's the big music plan we've got for you. And students' own interests were left out as part of that. What's interesting for me, though, if I look at my own childhood, and I suspect for you it's the same, Paul, we had music lessons. We went home, we did what our teachers asked us to do, but we also did a whole bunch of other things that only belonged to us. And
Right.
I know in my case, I never shared that with my teachers because they didn't want to know about it. In certain cases, not only did they not want to know about it, they didn't want me doing it. So you're right here. Yeah, they didn't want me doing it. And so here, what we've got going with the certification program is this acknowledgement that students' interests are going to keep the whole thing in motion much better than our agenda could ever do on our own. And then the whole idea that if we are interested in what students are interested in, and we're, what can I say, validating that or empowering that, they've got a coach behind them. They've got someone who's cheering them on in their interest, not someone who's saying, oh, only do this stuff when you've done everything else. No, we're saying, yeah, let's get it all integrated and get to it all at the same time.
Indeed. I love how we all know that we want to focus on each student, but having specific ways to do that, that really do come from the heart, is really, I found very helpful. The other thing I really like is the reflective partner partnership. Can you tell us a bit about that and how that will also help with student retention?
Yeah, an absolute but another cornerstone of the certification program
Yes.
is this whole reflective partnership teaching approach, which is based on, I'll call it a two-way street communication model. And I know teachers might say to me, "Well, but Merlin, everybody's got a two-way communication street going on," and that for me is a fantastic thing. The question that I have then is it a reflective process, or is it just students repeating, uh, you know, giving back to the teacher the information that they just gave them? For me, that's not a reflective process. So
Right.
it's the reflective process about engaging students with their awareness of what's going on, because they have reflective processes of their own. They've already got things figured out, and they benefit when teachers come in and say, you're thinking that through is really right on, or you're thinking that through. Well, here's where a music teacher can help you out to take that thought process just a little bit further.
Yes, I really appreciate how this approach gives ownership to the student. Not only are we talking about, focusing on them, but we really recognize that it's their journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And that might be a great place to wrap things up today, because what we talked about, motivation. How do you what's the role of music in our lives? Curriculum. What's the role of curriculum in creating a empowering music learning environment? And then the last one, what about the conversations that we're having? Because those are really important to the whole journey as well.
Indeed.
Thanks, Paul. We're keeping it short this time around. I'm Merlin Thompson. I've been here with Paul McGlinchey. We're both connected with Teach Music 21C. Yeah, and I should just mention that we have a certification program beginning in October. So anyone who's interested in the certification program from Teach Music 21C, please check out our website at teachmusic21c.com. We'll hope you'll join us again the next time. Bye for now.